All right, so chances are, okay, if you clicked on this video, it's most likely because you have your suspicions that you might be an introverted manager. And so in this video, what I want to do is talk about 5 signs, okay? 5 quick signs that will help you determine if you are actually an introverted manager. And then at the end of the video, I'm going to be talking about something that will help you so that you can actually thrive as an introverted leader, okay? So if that's something that you want to learn more about, then definitely hit on that like and subscribe button and let's get started. Hey there, friend. Welcome back to the channel. And if you're new around here, well, my name is Mac and I'm a leadership coach, but I actually work specifically with first-time team managers in helping them to become effective and confident, competent leaders. So today, like I mentioned in the onset of this video, what I want to talk about is introversion as a manager. The reason I want to do this is because I myself am an introvert and I actually work with a lot of introverted managers. A lot of introverted managers. I think it's because, of course, I've talked in the past about the fact that I was introverted as a manager and have had to figure out different ways to lead my team effectively. And so, of course, a lot of introverted managers want to learn from me, right? And so today what I want to do is share 5 signs, right? And I don't want to talk about like the typical signs that people talk about, which is like, you know, you don't like being around people, you like being at home by yourself. Like these are kind of obvious. I want to talk about 5 signs that like really play out in the workplace as a manager, right? Like if you're a manager and you're actually introverted, you will resonate with what I'm about to say because this is for real. Okay, so the first sign that you are introverted as a manager is that you tend to think about things at length before you actually communicate it. I see you. So I am like this too, actually to this day. Even on this YouTube channel, let me be for reals with you, okay? I will spend hours. One video will take me hours to think about, okay, like what do I want to say? How do I want to reach them? What is it? How do I want them to feel? Like how can I clearly articulate this so it lands the way that I want it to land and so that they're encouraged by what I'm saying? I really think about everything a lot, the words that I'm about to communicate a lot. And that's because, of course, as an introvert, I'm always thinking about, you know, just other people's feelings and emotions and how they're going to receive what I have to say. And so I tend to think a lot about what I'm about to say and what I'm about to communicate. And this was amplified as a manager, particularly as a new manager for me, because, of course, you're always worried about people's perceptions of you. And so it takes you that much longer than normal to communicate what you got to say, right? Because you're like overthinking it in your head. And so that is one of the signs that you can be an introverted manager is if you're thinking a lot about what you want to say before you actually say it. All right, so the second sign that you might be an introverted manager is that you are most likely like the last person to raise your hand or to like say something in a staff meeting or in like an executive level or, you know, management meeting. And again, if y'all been following me, you know I talk about this all the time, the fact that it took me forever to say something. In fact, the managing director of the company that I used to work for, it was so bad that he used to call on me like all the time. Like I'd be sitting there, you know, just really just hoping no one would even see me because I want to be invisible. And he would always be like, all right, so Mac, what do you think? I'm like, this has nothing to do with me or my department. Why are you asking me? Why are you calling me out like this? And I remember him like pulling me aside, like after this like 2-day retreat that we had, the management team had. And he said, you know, I'm calling you because I feel like you have a lot of good things to say. And I want you to step out of your comfort zone and start, you know, speaking up a little bit more. And I had to explain to him, I was like, okay, I understand. And I will definitely meet you there. But I just want you to know, I just don't like being the center of attention. And I don't want all eyes on me. I really just would prefer to like do my thing in the corner. Or can I just email you my thoughts? He was like, no, you're not going to email me your thoughts. You're going to like speak up. But yeah, that's another sign that you could be an introverted manager is if typically like in staff meetings, any sort of like actual meeting, you don't necessarily love to be the one to like speak up and like raise your hand or say things. Of course, you want to add value. And you want to feel useful, but you don't necessarily want all the eyes on you as you're communicating whatever it is you have to say. Okay, so the third sign that you might be an introverted manager is if you're in a full day of meetings and you feel so drained. Like, I mean, so drained by it. If I were to look at your calendar right now, and let's say you have 3 or 4 meetings in a day, maybe one with your manager, maybe 2 with your team, and then 1 with like a fellow manager, by the end of the day, you feel really, really tired. Like you've been in a marathon or something, and all you want to do is curl up and not talk to anybody. Okay. If that is how you feel, which is how I often feel even now with all the meetings I have, then you're most likely an introverted manager. Okay, so the 4th sign that you might be an introverted manager is if it takes you a long time to make decisions. This is pretty hard, particularly at the beginning. Now I have a process for making wise decisions, but back then, when I didn't know how to make decisions properly, coupled with the fact that I'm an introvert, it was really bad. It took me forever. I was like mulling over, just like how I was saying that communication, right? Something that I take a lot of time to think through and process. The same thing when it came to like making decisions. It would take me just as long to make a decision, which of course is, not that great, but it is a sign. It could be a sign that you are an introverted manager. All right. So the 5th and final sign that you might be an introverted manager is that you tend to carry other people's emotions a lot because of the fact that you are always listening. You see, because us introverts don't like to be in the spotlight doing this, we do a lot of this, right? We listen. We ask a question to open someone up, and then we just listen because we don't want to be the one having to carry on a conversation. And so in asking questions, and being a good listener, what happens is that people are naturally they naturally just tell you everything. I can't tell you how many times I've been to networking sessions or just anything in general where people are, and I'll just ask a question because of the fact that I don't want to talk. And all of a sudden I hear from A to Z on this person's life, right? A to Z. And it's usually really deep stuff sometimes. A lot of times, actually. I'm like, oh, I really didn't ask that. I'm not sure how we got there, but that's okay. I'll listen to you because clearly you need someone to listen to you. And again, because it's deep stuff, you're now taking on other people's stress or worry because perhaps nobody else is listening to them, right? And you're giving them that space. And so now it's all on you. And now you're just carrying other people's emotions as you continue to talk to other people. And so that is definitely a sign that you are an introverted manager, is if you feel at the end of the day or at the end of the week after having maybe let's say your one-on-ones with your team or whatever the case might be, that you feel kind of I don't want to say drained, but heavy because you've listened to everybody for all week. You've listened to the grievances, you've listened to the challenges, you've listened to the obstacles. What you've done is listen so much that you're actually tired, right? You're tired because you've been carrying legitimately everybody else's emotions. And so that's pretty much it. Those are just 5 signs that you might be an introverted manager. And so if you were able to take those things off, if you're yes, it takes me a while to really think about what I want to communicate. Yes, after spending all days in meeting, my entire day in a meeting, I feel super drained and I just want alone time. If you're yes, because I listen quite a bit to other people, I feel as though I hold their emotions within my soul. If you're yes, I'm the type of person that always speaks up last in every single meeting or big interaction. Or finally, if it takes you some time to make decisions, then these might be signs that you are definitely an introverted manager. And if that is the case, if you were able to take off most of that stuff or even all of it, or I should say, if you were able to take off all of those things or even most of it, then definitely I want you to hit on the subscribe button, because next week, what I'm going to be doing is talking about how you can thrive as an introverted manager. Because I think that there's a lot of, how do I want to say this? There's a lot of information out there and examples of extroverted leaders, right? And I think a lot of us think that in order to be an effective leader that you have to be extroverted. And I do not think that is true at all. Like I said, I myself am an introvert and I work with exclusively pretty much introverted managers. and they are freaking successful. So it is absolutely possible for you to thrive as an introverted manager. You just have to know how to do so. So next week, I'm going to be discussing, let's say, 5 tips around how you as an introverted manager can absolutely be effective, find your confidence, and be competent. Okay, so if that's something that you want to learn more about, definitely subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on next week's video. All right, my friend, that is pretty much it for me. I hope that you found this video to be helpful to you, and if you did, give it a thumbs up. And I hope that you have a fantastic rest of the week. Do not forget to keep smiling, and I'll see you in the next one.